Hey guys, Dylan from Noble Records coming at you with another video. This one I'm so excited to show you guys. Lately I've been finding some heavy hitters for my collection. Basically, over the past year or so, in my first year owning a record store, a lot of things have come home with me. I'm trying not to keep much, but it's bound to happen. I bring home a crate of records about every month or week. It depends on what I get. But I've really started to try to focus more on the records that really get me excited. Like when I first started collecting, any record would get me excited. Like if it was Led Zeppelin, I would be so like over the moon. But even if it was like Styx or REO Speedwagon or something like that, I'd get excited about it just because everything was exciting and there was music that I wasn't, super familiar with, and I was just getting into it. So sometimes as time goes on to get enough records, you kind of lose that excitement. And, I was thinking about it a few months ago and I was like, man, I really want to get to the point to where I'm only really collecting things that really excite me. So a lot of these things come and go, but I've been focusing on some of the real big records that I've been wanting in my collection and kind of trying to sell some of the, filler stuff in my collection and grab some of this other stuff. That's always the struggle with collectors is, maintaining a good stock of what you think you're really going to listen to and what you're not. Before we get started, and I never ask this, but if you want to hit that, there's a little bell that should be somewhere under this video, and that turns on notifications. So every time I post a video, you'll know about it. Your phone will notify you about it, and you won't miss any videos of mine when I put them up. So if you want to stay in tune with what I got going on, turn those post notifications on. Also hit subscribe if you're not familiar with our channel. Follow us on Instagram where we're always posting cool stuff about things we're finding and all that stuff. So I found a stack of really good records. I'm gonna go ahead and get into it. I think I've got like 14 or something. But these are all like heavy hitters, big ones that I'm really excited to get in my collection. Over the past 2 weeks, I've gotten these, and it's been crazy to get this many in 2 weeks, but it's just kind of how it's happened. None of these have like been traded into the shop or anything like that. These have all been pretty much, there's a couple online buys, but pretty much friends that I know that have been selling some things, and they're all like, hey man, I've got this, would you be interested? And I'm like, yes, so a lot of opportunities. So anyways, I'll get to it. The first one, shout out to Rockadrome, Rockadrome. Great website and label. They basically put out a bunch of really killer early 70s hard and heavy rock is mostly what they specialize in. But the guy that runs it, I was talking to him a good bit, kind of telling him some things that I was looking for, and he's like, well, I could probably hook you up on a couple of those things. This is one that I've been looking for years. This is a band called Virus, and the album's called Thoughts. I've had a reissue of this for a couple years, but really, really strong record. It's on that Pills label, which, I mean, everything on that label's killer. Krautrock, prog rock type stuff. But band from Germany. They had another album before this called Revelation, which I also like. It's also very good. That one's has a little bit more psych leanings to it. And this one is like blues rock and prog mixed, and this is a really, really killer record. The first time I heard this, I was blown away. I was like, man, I've got to find an original of that, and it's just taken forever. They are rare as hen's teeth, and they never come up for sale, and when they do, they just skyrocket, and they're tough to get a hold of. So this one it is a perfect copy. So man, he hooked me up on this one and gave me a good deal on it, and I really, really appreciate that one. Another one that I got from him, which I've had this for a while. This is a really good band. I've talked about it a couple times. JPT Scare Band. Killer 70s, 80s band. They didn't release this, which is their first album, until '94. I don't know why. They didn't ever put anything else out. But this is like tapes and stuff as early as the mid-70s that they had recorded on a reel-to-reel. And this is the original '94 press. Now, the tough thing about this is when they were making these covers are handmade. They're silkscreen, and like they use spray paint. So when you hold this in your hand will get black on it because it is not like a legit thing. So I think that they had originally pressed 400 of the records, but they didn't make enough sleeves. And so a lot of the records don't have sleeves. So I had this record for the longest time and didn't have a sleeve for it because a lot of them came that way. And so I know he had mentioned in the past that he had some extra sleeves somewhere because he bought out like a lot in a warehouse or something that had a bunch of that stuff with it. Anyways, so I was able to get an original cover from him to go with my record. And I've even got it like inside its own plastic sleeve because it will come off. But this is such killer artwork and it's so handmade. It's so cool to have it. And I'm so stoked because I don't know that I know anyone else who has one of the original covers. They're really tough to find. So, but this is, if you've never heard it, this is really, really killer Hendrix-esque hard and heavy rock and roll with that. Hendrix has that fuzz tube screamer mixed in with the Univibe, and it's on point. It's killer. And they named their band the JPT Scare Band because it scared people back in that day. But it's wild and crazy stuff. So you got to check them out if you haven't heard them. I talk about them all the time just because that's the one band that when I introduce it to people and they actually go listen to it, they're like, holy moly, this is the most insane thing. Another one, this is Odin, 1972. This is an online buy. Shout out to my buddy Chris. Chris sent me this. He sent me a link to this on eBay. Okay. And the guy wanted $1,000 for it, which is a lot. Okay. It's way too much. And he's like, do you think it's a good deal? And I was like, no, don't buy that. It's crazy. That's way too much. And he's like, how much do you think, how much do you think they normally go for? And we talked about it a little bit. I mean, these, if they're in good shape, they can go for $500 or $600. This one has some rounded edges and the vinyl's not perfect. And so he's like, well, I guess I'll just forget about that one, but it's a really cool record. I was like, yeah, it's really cool. And then I went on eBay and it had him make an offer, and for whatever reason, I hit him with a super low offer, like mega low offer on it, and didn't think anything of it. It was what I actually thought the record was probably worth and that I'll be acceptable paying. Because it doesn't hurt to put in an offer, but I was like, $1,000 is, if he's going to be crazy enough to list it for $1,000, I can be crazy enough to tell him what I want. I'd rather give for it. And he freaking accepted it. So I was like, dang it. And I told Chris, I was like, man, so he accepted this offer. And he's like, what? I said, if you want it, you can send me the money and I'll send you the record because you're the one that showed it to me or whatever. And he's like, no, enjoy it. You can, I've got other records I got my eyes on. So anyways, so that's kind of a funny story how I came to this one. But this is an original Vertigo, German press. These are very, very scarce. But this is some insanely good prog. I'll show you the back cover as well. But really, really heavy stuff, man. This is what I absolutely love to hear in a record. Really good. Obviously, those guitar solos that I can't get enough of. But what's really great about this record is the Hammond B3. It is stanky. It is so thick and juicy. Hammond swells, man. And there's other parts of the record that there's a lot of really good stereo panning of just stuff. And it's got that, the mixture of that organ and those juicy guitar licks, man. This thing is a freaking cooker through and through. You can stream this, Odin 1972 on Vertigo. This is an amazing record. You've got to hear this if you haven't heard it. It's incredible. So shout out to another friend of mine, Matt at Spatula City Records in California. Anytime he gets something really crazy and psychedelic, he always reaches out to me. And he posted a picture of this record, the Deviants, their first record. This is a really crazy record, but he said, and I got really excited. I was like, dude, I can't believe you found one. And he's like, but there's no disc. And I was like, crap. And I was actually kind of interested in just getting a cover if he was going to sell the cover if he didn't have a disc with it. And he looked all day through the collection he had bought and he found the disc. So this is a first press, 1968. First UK press of this. Super rare record to get. Even the US's are really rare. The US, I think, is on Sire, but the UK is like freaking really rare. And so, you know, we talked back and forth on it, and we came to an agreement. But this has got this really, really epic, and I'll pull it out just because it has to be shown. It's got this really cool comic book cover if you've never seen it before. But, and this is the legit, I won't pull this out very often, but it folds out like this. And then the other side also has like, let me move this around, really be gentle with this thing. But really incredible artwork. But it folds out, you got to get it just right. So this is a really influential record. This is not for everybody. This is not going to be one of those records that blows you away, I don't think. It's an enjoyable record, but it definitely has some parody to it, which I'm not normally a big fan of. But you can tell with this record that, like, when Iggy and the Stooges were writing their first record or whatever, there's a lot of influence. You can hear this record in that. This is 68. That was 69. So they were around that same time, but this was music that wasn't being made then. This is proto-punk. This is considered in the punk community as one of the first examples of punk rock. So that first track has got some blazing, really good acid fuzz guitar solos in it and stuff. But the rest of it's like a lot of like really weird stuff, parody, strange songs on it, which I love weird stuff. But this is just a record that you can tell was ahead of its time, and you can tell they didn't give a crap if you liked it or not, you know, which was very punk rock of them. But you could tell this record also had a lot of political content in it for that time. But it's just a really, really cool, influential, proto-punk, psychedelic, whatever you want to call it, record, and it's super tough to find. So I'm really glad to add that one to my collection. So I was really excited to be getting that one, and I was like, you know, do you have anything else in that collection that you think I might be interested in? And he's like, well, here's something that's kind of weird. This is Mosaicus, Magic Tube. Just look at that cover. What do you think this is gonna sound like? This is a weird record, okay? I'd heard this record before, and I've been kind of loosely looking for a copy for a while. But this is a really cool record. It's got some songs sound like a rock R&B cover. There's some garage tracks on here. There's some tracks with some prog leanings. There's some psychedelic tracks. This is 1971 from Philadelphia, and they were just like a band trying to cut their teeth and make it in the world. Here's some pictures of them on that back cover. But you can tell they were serious musicians, and they were very good. Great musicianship, and they were able to it was almost like with this record, they were trying to show off how many different types of music they could do, which isn't probably a good idea if you're trying to sell a lot of records, but it's still like a really, really cool band, three-piece band out of Philadelphia. Just a really cool record. I mean, that cover says it all. It's as cool as the cover. So that's one. I think you can find it, stream it. And then he sent me some pictures of some other stuff, and I saw this poking out in the background on one of the pictures. This is the Kinks, the Village Green Preservation Society, and this is a white label promo. I already had one of these, but not a promo. You guys know how I am about the promos. Some promos don't matter as much as some do. This is such a killer record. I'm not huge on the Kinks. Do I have all their records? Yes. I do like the Kinks. I like early Kinks. It's just one of those bands that I like them. I like the sound. If a Kinks record is going, I'm enjoying it. But I usually don't throw one on. This one I do throw on. This is my favorite Kinks record. I don't know what it is about it. But it definitely has that pop psych sound that I really do like. There is some like bubblegum pop that I don't, but not in this record. I'm just talking about in general. But this is a really good record. This is not a smoking, hot, blazing, rock and roll record, but this is a really strong record, really good songwriting, and this is the one that I always gravitate to. Really important record, fantastic stuff. And what makes it important for me is that, like, I remember a few years ago, I went into a record store, and this was up on the wall, you know, and I saw it, and it was the promo. It was up on the wall, and I was like, man, at that time I didn't have a copy at all. I could not afford the promo. And I remember thinking, man, I really wish I could get that, but I can't afford it. And I was like, maybe one day. And I've been looking for one. You know how collectors, it'll just stick in your craw, and you're like, man. But I remember looking at it, and it wasn't in perfect shape. This one is like super, super near mint clean. And so I'm thrilled to have this one. He cut me a deal on all three. Super nice guy. So, Matt, if you're watching this, thank you, man. Here's a couple more onlines. I saw this one. This is one I've been looking for a long time. This is Janus Gravedigger. This is 1972. Krautrock, Prague. This is a smoker. This is a really good record. It's really tough to find the original press of this. I saw one pop up on eBay, and I've just kind of been watching it from afar. I didn't think I'd get it, just because, like, here lately, things on eBay have been going for stupid prices, like way more than they should be going for. Just a couple I've been watching, I've been like, that is going for like double what it should go for. So I wasn't holding my breath on it. But the other day I was at home, and so like half the time I can't even bid because I'm doing something else. I'm busy. But I was at home, and I was able to bid, and I was able to get it for a very, very good, fair, reasonable price. This has the insert with it. It's near mint. It's in incredible condition. So I'll just go ahead and tell you the first track, Red Sun. Go listen to that on YouTube. I don't think you can stream this anywhere. But it's Janus Gravedigger is the name of the album, 1972. Red Sun. It is smoking. I mean, this is going to burn your house down, okay? This is a killer record, but that first song is what makes it. It is juicy, good, perfect prog. It is the way I love it. It's a lot like the Odin record. Incredible stuff. You can tell there's a lot of Hendrix influence on some of the riffs and stuff on this one, but also there's some slower tracks, but it's through and through a really, really killer record. That's one you got to find. It's on the Harvest label. I think there's some reissues of it, and you can stream it online, but that first Red Sun, man, it's a cooker. And so I was looking at usually if I do win an eBay auction, I'll look at what else the seller has. And he had this record, which I have never heard of before, Askew. But I saw that it was on there, so I listened to a couple tracks. And first listen, I was like, I have to have this. It is so good. This is not what you would think to be this, like, crazy hard rock record. That's what the cover looks like. This is a 1968 ESP Records acid folk masterpiece. I mean, this is such a good record. I've been listening to this like crazy. I've been really lately into a lot of like folky acid folk, like strange folk stuff that's just never would have gotten radio play. But what I love about that music is, like, these guys, they did not care. They were making this music because they loved this music. They didn't think they were going to be the next, big thing. They knew what it took to be played on the radio, and they weren't going to do it. They wanted to play, and that's such true art, He wanted to do what he wanted to do. And this guy actually is a painter. He has a career painting. He graduated from Yale. But this is a really cool record. I think he did a couple more like solo records after this. I don't know that any of them are on vinyl. I haven't really looked into it that much, but this is one that I would recommend you trying to find. The melodies on here are like haunting and brilliant. It's just a really cool record. You can stream this, I think, on Spotify and Apple. But yeah, this is one that pulled me in. I've been listening to this, and like also just a lot of other acid folk and stuff like that. Used to, for me, I liked the stuff that was the hard rock. If it didn't have a guitar solo in it, I wasn't listening to it. I wanted those, which I do. That's still me. I still love that stuff. But I really am branching off into some other things that, if you heard, the solo can't carry the whole record. You got to have some other good elements in there. So anyways, the next one, big thanks. I had a viewer that I think he said that he somehow knew I wanted this record. I don't care how he knew. Maybe he's hacking into my brain waves. But Anne Briggs, incredible UK singer-songwriter, female singer-songwriter, obviously. The time has come. This is an original UK press. Her stuff is so hard to find on vinyl. She had a first record. It was like a 7-inch EP. And then she had her like self-titled in 71. And this was also released in 71, her second record. And I actually prefer this one. The first record has some more covers and stuff on it, but this is almost all original material, if not all original material. But Anne Briggs was just an incredible. Her voice is so beautiful and dynamic, and also she plays bouzouki, which, if you don't know what a bouzouki is, it's like a Greek instrument that was used kind of like in Irish folk too. I think it's got 8 strings. It's kind of a mix between a 12-string guitar and a mandolin, if you can imagine. So anyways, very incredible record. And this is one of those records that it's so soft and delicate that you have to have a super clean copy of it, because if this snap, crackled and popped, I just wouldn't want to hear it. This one's so clean and so perfect that I'm just thrilled to have it. So I traded him some really cool jazz stuff for it. So, I mean, if you guys come across any records you think I like, I'll hook you up. Let me know. A friend of mine runs Cloud City Records, sent me a picture of this. He's like, do you know what this is? And I was like, yes, I know what that is. This is Samurai. So Samurai is this really cool band. This came out in 1971. Before Samurai, the band was called Web. There's an album called I Spider, which is probably one that you might have seen the cover of. But really cool band, and they changed some stuff up and changed their name to Samurai. So there's 2 different Samurais. Just happens to be right here. I can grab it. It's not this Samurai. This is another really good Samurai, but it's not this Samurai. It's a different band. But this is a original. This is a Japanese press. So for whatever reason, the German and UK presses were 71. The Japanese press actually came out 72. So this is a original Japanese press. Brilliant artwork on here. I'll go ahead and take it out so you can see it. But very, very cool stuff. And this is one, like, we were talking about it, and he's like, what do you think it's worth? And I was like, I don't know, man. I mean, there's very few examples of this ever sell in the Japanese press. It did originally come with an obi. He said the guy that he got this from, he threw away all his obies because he thought that was just part of the packaging, like a hype sticker on a shrink or something. And so, but anyways, whatever. This is a like super clean near mint copy. This is jazzy prog. There's some really great organ work in there. There's some really great fuzzy jazz guitar solos in there. This is a really cool record. If like it's like a fusion between jazz and prog. It's like good stuff, guys. So if you haven't heard this record, I don't think it's that well known. I don't think I've ever seen or heard anybody talking about it. It's come up in the on the dark web when I've been searching for dark heavy psych on the dark. I don't know how to get on the dark web, guys. Don't take that to heart. Next one here is 1973. I can never say this right. John Dummer's Oobly Doobly band. Oobly Doobly Jubilee is the name of this. This on Vertigo. That Vertigo Swirl. This is an original UK press. This is as clean as you could possibly ever find it. But this is straightforward blues rock. Some really good blues rock. So that has some good players on here. But this one's really tough to find in any condition. And a good friend of mine that I do some trading with, he like pulled some stuff out of his collection that he was willing to sell. And so we did some wheeling and dealing, and I was able to get a few of these others from him. But this one is just a really strong blues rock record. Cool one to find. I think you'd have to find this on YouTube. I don't think you can stream it anywhere, but just really, really great blues rock. Along those same lines, this is Andy Fernbach, If You Miss Your Connection. connection spelled with an X. So yeah, this is an original UK. This is an insanely like mythical rare record. It's just impossible to find. Not that it's worth that much, but it's just tough to find. I've never seen another copy of this. Me being that Oobly Doobly messed me up. Me being a blues guy, I'd heard it before and listened to it online before, and it's just one that is so good. It's half of it's like acoustic folk blues, and the other half is like electric blues, and it's killer. There's some great slide stuff in here, but it's a very unique record. It does remind me a little bit of some Groundhogs material, if you're familiar with them, but this is a tough one to find, but you can stream it. And this is one I never thought I would actually find a copy because it's just so rare. I've never seen one in person before, but really, really, really good. I mean, it's unique electric and like folk acoustic stuff. It's bluesy. It's awesome. It's like if Eric Clapton was better. Sorry. This next one is Mick Abrahams' band At Last. So this has the this is a circular die cut cover. Opening this cover is like doing open heart surgery. Like, you got to be so gentle. It has these tiny paper hinges that holds everything together. Kind of like that Ogden's Nut Gone Flake record with that crazy die cut interactive cover. It's just circular, but I'm not going to pull it out because it is a mother to get back in there. But anyways, this is an original UK press. These are really tough to find. Mick Abrahams' band At Last. Really good blues rock. Mick Abrahams, he had another record before this. It was a self-titled Mick Abrahams, and it was a pretty good record, like solid. This is better. This is a little bit harder. Some really killer guitar stuff on here, but it's blues rock, hard rock, and it is very, very good. I've never seen one with that die cut cover and everything in good shape, at least. Always those panels are pulled off because, I mean, it's literally this much like little piece of cardstock holding each side together. So it's crazy that it's still in one piece, but this one's in fantastic condition and it's very hard to find. But Mick Abrahams played in Jethro Tull, Blodman Pig, but very well-known, good guitar player, but great band. And then the last one I was going to show you guys is this. You ever heard of this record before? Stooges Funhouse. But I already have a copy of this. Oh, you don't have a original gold label French press. This is the first French pressing, and it is like near mint, perfect. The only thing wrong with it is this, somebody stamped their name on it with a little stamp, but that's it. It is such a clean, this sounds so good. But it's a French, like a first 1970 French pressing with that tan label. Not many bands I will collect various copies of their records. Stooges is one of them. I've got some UK Stooges stuff. I've got some promo Stooges stuff. I need, like, the first record. I need a promo of that. So if you have that, let me know. And I need a better copy of Raw Power. But anyways, I'm just throwing it out there. But this is just obviously seminal record. I mean, I'm telling you, this thing looks like it was opened yesterday. It's so clean. But yeah, the same guy that got me those other ones there, a friend of mine, shout out, man, appreciate you. I know you're watching this. But I just with Stooges stuff, he knows I'm a sucker for it, and was glad to pay him for this record because it's just so good. But yeah, if I do that a lot now. I like swapping and trading with friends and doing deals with people that I know. Occasionally, I'll venture out and buy some things online, but that whole thing is crazy. eBay and stuff is it's getting nuts. So anyways, thank y'all for watching this video. I hope you saw some records you might not know of and got to see some of the things that are really exciting to me that I really get into. And so thank y'all for watching this video. If you liked it, hit that subscribe button, follow us on Instagram, and turn on your post notifications so you can see when I post something and you don't miss anything. Ogden's Nut Dong Flake. Nut Dong Flake. Ogden's Nut Long.